So I said, okay, give me the same dashboard for the purchasing of new vendors and new items as we have it in the sales. So this is the template that we have already, and just a few minutes before the training, I got from Alex this part here. Okay, so let's see if this work is satisfactory, if something can be done better, different, so on. So we are looking into the not financial reporting, but the Power BI reporting, but that's just the exercise that I gave to Alex. So it's a little diversion, but it's still a training part here. So what do we have here? We have new vendor and item purchases. Good. So this is a description here. Try to, not to overlap the reports. I'll go into many details. So if possible, it just, try to avoid overlapping. You see there is a little overlapping. It's not a big deal, but sometimes for a user can be disturbing because user may think I'm picking up a date, but actually he's hovering over the text. So it's kind of a problem here. But there is also the way how you can, change the things. So what do we have here? We have a 2019. First, when we are analyzing, we try to find nice data. So if everything is zero, then probably we need to go into the period where we have some new vendors. So if there are no new vendors in 2019, we can see if there is something in 18. Okay, we have some data and we don't have any new items. So let's go into the 2017. Okay, and still new items. We need to figure out so that we have all the demo data available and tested. Otherwise, let's see it now here. New item. So something is wrong because whatever we do, there are never new items. So it's kind of weird. Let's see if we have any, no, there are no filters here. So that's kind of weird. So the items have never been new, which is, I don't think that is so. But let's see what we have here. Maybe it's a wrong formula here. So let's look into this data here. New purchase cost 2.8 million, 3 million, good. New vendors, we have new vendors, 2 new vendors. So Alex didn't create these measures. The measures were already available in new purchase analysis. So he just had to create the report. Okay. So the report, it was already, measures were here. Then new vendor purchase. Okay, it's 3006, good. Then a new vendor purchase percentage, it's not much. Then new items purchased, 93. We have now new items, which is good. And we have new item sales. Why would we have new item sales? Okay, we don't need new item sales, so we would need new item purchase. So that is something. New item sales, we have new vendor purchase. Okay, new item purchased. So this is something we definitely should not have here because it doesn't belong to the model that we would like to do. If we have new item vendor sales, then we are looking into the purchasing. So this measure here, new item sales, I would not put it here because I'm focused on purchasing. It is not a bad idea, although you can say how many new items purchased have you also sold. That's fine. But as my request was to have a customer and items, we should have customer, vendors and items. So we don't have this. Let's see if we have the measures here in the analysis. Okay, so yeah, I see what is the reason for that. So the reason for this is that we don't have all the DAX measures for the sales as we have it for the purchasing. So in the sales, we have new item sales as a percentage, which we don't have. We have it for the vendors only. So Alex, on your to-do job is to copy these two formulas from the sales, or I will do, well, let's do the exercise right now and we'll do it for the purchase. And your job will be still to repeat this exercise to create this measure group calculations for the ACY in your own project. After I verify, we will move it to BI for the development environment. Okay? So this is one thing. The measures that we have are fine. Now, what is on to do here? So you see, red is there. So that is a typical beginner's error, which means that the measures or the values that were selected are showing empty, and this was not taken care of. What I mean? So in the conditional formatting of the colors, I said yesterday that we are using light colors, and which is fine. Okay, new items is good, it's green, or new customer is green, but we just say don't format if it is a 0, at least in this case. If revenue is 0, we don't say it's wrong, right? So nothing happened here. And same here for vendors, because if there is no new vendors, we can survive with that. It's just blank, right? The right way to do it, blank. And everywhere the same here. So Alex, fix this in the report, that because the changes that we'll do later, we will copy paste into the standard report. Another thing is, because we will have few more measures, whenever you have values like this, try to narrow down if possible, because sooner or later you will be out of space. Sooner or later you will be out of space. Or, you know, if you have space, then you can bring another measure. But here bringing another measure into this dashboard would not be the brightest idea, because it is very time consuming to calculate this. It is very, very time consuming to calculate these measures. So these measures are not fast. So the colors. And another thing, whenever you see decimals, if these are not percentages, definitely round it to the full. So go into the fill formatting, and you know, decimals should be done like this, and also purchase values like this one, new purchase values to 0, because no one will make decision based on the decimal. Accounting may be looking sometimes if balances match and so on. For that reason, yeah, but business is never. So we cannot format in our application that we would have only rounded numbers, but we have to keep it in the 2 decimal, in Kuwait to 3 decimal, but that's when we come to report, you have to do it like that. Okay, so these were the things on to do. Now, new items, this is good. Country, this is good. So if you have space here, again,
Sorry, Mladen, I previously had issues with the microphone, so I couldn't respond. The comment about the new items purchased percent. I checked the BI4 Dynamics application, and it appears that we have the variable, the measure for the new item sales percent, but not the new items purchases percent.
I know. So that is not an issue. That is not an issue. I commented we will add this. We will add this now. So that is not a problem. No worries about that. No worries about that. Now, what I wanted, I continue, right? When you have a space, then new item purchase, it's nice to have purchase. Why not? And also try to avoid at all cost these sliders. These sliders are silly, so it's better to have, first it's item category, which gives us a lot of empty space. So sometimes it's just like this. Or the next option would be, if I would have multiple columns, then I would go this way. Still better to have one row less than to have a slider where it looks like I don't provide all the information, or it's a dangerous that you will, be hiding it because you want to see it at once. So that is, you mean these are the minor things, the details, but actually that is where we are with our application of BI4 Dynamics. We are already, very mature solution. We are discussing about the small details, and I may be pain in the ass right now, but this is your starting position, not a beginner's luck, but something which we already provide to the market. That's why the customers like Karim last time from Chimera was so amazed about our BI4 app because of such a details. So this was another part, minor things also here. This is for me extremely disturbing. I'm kind of a person, right? So in that case, why would I have like 3 centimeters of new purchase? You see, it's silly. It's very difficult to come to the spot to do it. Sometimes if you cannot get it here, you can get it here, and then you have, let's say, more space if you have longer names, just to get rid of these tables. Yeah, so this is it. Also, sometimes you can do it if you see new vendor purchase and this is not available and see it. It's not a problem if you have space, and look into, do you have a space, just to extend this a little, okay, and just put it like this. Or even if we shorten this vendor, many times when I'm doing such a detailed work, you may say again, these are the details. It's better to use the digital numbers directly, because here you have a control how far you can go. It's much better. Let's say when this will work, and then you move this guy into here and give him a little more place. Usually we would not do it, but in case by case you can do it, because the labels on the top deserve to be presented in full, so that the name where I have it here would get a person purchase. So it looks better. So it's still not enough space. Don't worry, just get 5 more, we are done. Okay, so new vendor purchase percent, it's okay. New assets, but we still have space. But again, here we are with the date. So even if we spend some more time on doing this, then you know what you're doing. It's a fine-tuning the dashboard that will be used 1,000 times. It's not 5 times. It will be not used 5 times. It will be used 1,000 times. So just bear in mind that years from now, no one will change this, because it will be perfect from day one. And that's why we invest a little more time. We are a product company. If we would be doing per project, then customer would not pay us for such a small details. We'll say fine tune it on your own. But we are a product company, which means whatever comes from our end has to be perfect, right? It has to be perfect. Also such a things like that, right? I know that you do not know how far you can go with these details. Well, I'm telling you, just go as far as it needs to be gone if you're doing something on a product. If you're doing this for a customer, they will not pay you $100 an hour for fine-tuning the length of this dashboard here, right? It is not going to work financially for them. But this is it, right? So these are the details. Now, what we would need to do is, again, new business. This is what Alex commented. In the sales, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 measures, while we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. a lot of these are missing. So let's see what we need to do in order to get this thing work. Now, so let's see what we have to do. Okay, let's just go into the model, and I'll just do one exercise, and we'll be doing other things. Alex will do other things on his own. But otherwise, it's okay for the beginner. It's okay. Now, such things also, new items, new vendors, you put it like this, then you give a little more space to have it like this. And many times when you have a single digit information here, many times you can also, centralize the layout of the report here. So these numbers you can choose, but this is not a must. This is if you are sure that you get a single digit, that these numbers are not big, then you can do in the field formatting for smaller things, you put it into the central. So it's better, it looks better if you don't have that many big numbers. If these are integers, in most cases this looks better. It better fulfills the place here. But the decimals are right, auto alignment. That is for sure. You see how much better this looks like compared to these numbers here. They are right on the right part. And when you do an exercise like this, okay, when you fine-tune one report, then one visual, then I would not suggest you to go into the others and do the formatting. No, because that's quite a big waste of time. So what you should do is you just delete this and copy the base one. So the base one should be copied, because you just say copy paste if it's the same measure, and it is the same measure. And now we bring vendor country. So just country, I guess, here. And we have buy from vendor country. And instead of item category, I'm just having this. Let's say a code or a country name. And for now, it doesn't really matter. The point of my of vendor new items. This is not good. Just see what we have here. This was item category. What was before here? You just see. Country, it is country pay to vendor. Okay, so we have a pay to vendor. Let's just skip it here. So instead of formatting here and going into the field format and so on, in most cases it's better copy paste. I was just presuming that this is from another vendor, so this is the new report, and then I use this, which one is here, pay to vendor country. Okay, so it's a pay to vendor country. Just see, okay, country. So this country may be from customer. That's why it's not working. So pay to vendor country, it's like this. And I think what we have here, what's interesting, let's just see the differences. What I'm using here. I have here new items, and I have here new items purchase. So what are these new items here? Let me just see. New items. This is not new items. Let's just rename, which is new items, because new item. This is new item in the sales, number of new item in the sales. So you see, this is actually, and also here new items are coming from the sales. So new item purchase. Okay, so you see Alex, you see we have here an error because these new items are new items sales. They are not new items purchased. So this is the right number here, new items purchased. They are the same number, 93, but may not be the same functionality. So that's something. So, but my point is the following, right? Once you have designed the layout, then it's faster to change only one member than format the measures. Usually that is much faster. And this is what I would do. Or for example, when we were delivering the visual here, it's kind of a lot of work, right? Each column you have to format and find the right way and so on. So we have to do it like 15 times. From here, from this one, either to this, they are just lighter versions, or to this date, we didn't do this again here. We just deleted the vendor and bring in the date. That's the point. This is how you should do. Reuse it as much as possible. Even within one small report where you have not many measures, it's faster. And you don't do the mistake, and then formatting that you invested here will apply to all other reports or the visuals here. Okay, so this is this part. Now let's just see what...
Can I ask a question regarding what's the correct way to choose? Is it pay to vendor or buy from vendor?
Well, that's the content. You should understand what the content is. What is the difference between pay to or buy from? In economical terms, doesn't matter what is the ERP or what business we are in.
Well, I guess payable should be pay to vendor and purchases should be buy from vendor.
Exactly. Because let me show you one form, and any form. I am in BC Cloud. It can be F&O, AX, Oracle, SAP, anything. When I'm in the purchasing module or selling module, you see I have buy from. That is usually the first part here. But let's see, the point here is that a vendor name, when I speak about the vendor, then for us it's important to whom we buy from, and then who will be paying to. It's, I don't say less important, but it's second information. Okay, so first part is buy from, as you said, in the purchasing, that is in the purchasing. But payables are going to be hooked to information that come from, and the same vendor table is behind. It's clear it's only one table, but in that case we use by pay to. So let me just see, vendor number is here. That's okay. I'm just looking into where do we have the information for pay to, because I think this is only one. By default, you have only one tab. Let's just see, buy from, it's at history. So I'm a little new in this interface. We'll figure it out. Just for that second, I'm not so new in the DOS versions here. I mean, in the desktop version here. Let me show you what I have here. So I'm again Microsoft Dynamics NAV, which is the desktop version. So I have a buy from, and on the invoicing tab I have pay to. So this is payables and this is purchase. I'm just trying to figure out how the BC is having this here. So vendor number, that goes to buy from, and there is usually a tab, maybe there is a tab, prepayment not, foreign train shipment and payment, maybe this. Pay to. Okay, yeah, here it is default. So actually you can see here, also from Microsoft perspective, they figure out that the difference is that you would have one entity that you would buy from another pay to is supported but is least option. So in this case you can see here actually you kind of have to open another field in order to bring it to life. So that would be our pay to if I choose another one, right? So yeah, this is the exercise. You see, I didn't even find it. And it's on the payment tab. Like you see the development of Microsoft user interface studying what users are doing. Previously, we were having tabs for shippings and so on. Now these forms have pages and they just figure out that information, it's not that important and they hide it, quite away. So yeah, this is it. And it is understood that it is the same for a customer. So in the customer case, we have bill to and sell to. So bill to is invoice, sell to is who gets this. Whom do we sell? Sell to customer. You can see here we have to bill to and sell to, same. So we are going to see what formulas we need to prepare for purchasing, and the selling part is in the sales values, which means that the new business will put into the purchase new values. So if I'm here, these are DAX measures. These are the things that I will add. You see, I have 4, which means that in the selling part, I have new measures, new existing measures, okay, and they are not data warehouse based. They are DAX calculations. This is something I know. And you see these, they are definitely more, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And there we had something like 4, okay. So what are the DAX measures? New vendors percentage, these things we have. New items, you see, this is already a problem because it's my problem because I'm a solution architect responsible for this. This is ambiguity because it says new item and new item sales. So how come the new item be without a text? So let's see a formula. It says it gives me the item which didn't have transactions in the previous period. So actually, yes, new item sales, that's I kind of count the right way. And this is something we have to change because we are going to add this into the application. So this is you have sales everywhere. Okay, customer sales doesn't matter. So it's a number of new items. New item, let's say sales, then we go count would be the right way, or number of new items. This is also one thing we do, number of new items in sales. So that is then the question, what is the right English expression? And sometimes, because you can easier search, new item sales count. That is the easiest way. It's not the best way. The expression is right way. So if we would do the first part here, or we would add this expression and just not here, we'll just steal a formula and put it into the notepad. Okay, and what we would do here in a notepad is just probably expect to change the sales to the purchase. So we would just do like this and purchase amount. So we are not going to do it here. That is text editor, but we will keep this and the exercise will be done in here. in the Power BI, because we are just creating a Power BI in the same environment. And just for the sake of part, okay, we have here a space. So what we do is a new measure. We are working on here. And in this new measure, we are going to add a new DAX expression. The name should be already the final name. So it should be new item purchase count. Okay, this will be the name. But anytime I do anything in my report, I add DAX. So I know this is my DAX formula that later I will delete. And equals, and here I put copy paste. Now if I would run this, that would be wrong, because this is something that I want to replace with the purchase. It's always good to be case sensitive. Purchase cost amount. Okay, I have it, and let's just put it into the memory. And it's not a rocket science to replace it here also. If you would study a DAX formula, what it will say is, give me this thing count in item, because I'm doing it by item, where I filter those which have positive revenue, so it has a credit memo, it will not show. But at the same time, it will filter, so I will apply another filter on a table item, which is the same table, where I will say, okay, remove those which, show me those which have transaction in the previous period 0. So it means that filter all where the minimum date is past. So actually what this transaction is saying, give me filter on the items which didn't have in the past, their transaction was 0 in the past, so the dates are smaller than the mean date in the context of a filter. So mean date is, depending where you are, right? So it'll be looking, give me items who have some purchase, but didn't have purchase before. So this is didn't have purchase before. It's a little more complicated. This one is simple. Give me items which have something here. So pretty much we should be good with this. Okay, let's just see. The good thing is that we have a parser. The good thing is we have a checking of the script, which in our case in BFO Dynamics do not have. We do some simple parameters, but we cannot match by far, and it's much smarter to start doing in here and then editing it later. Now we may decide to put this into purchase value if we decide where do we want to have this, where do we want to put this measure. Now it's giving you into the first dimension, but it doesn't really matter where it is disposing you this temporary measure, because we will delete it after we figure out this is right and it's working. So let's say this is right, and we want to see what's going on here. It's like here, and just put it like, let's just put it new item sales, new item purchase count. It's 93, okay, because it's the starting year. So we already have this new item purchased. We already have this. Okay, purchased. Okay, we have already this. So we didn't have the value. Okay, so we'll just do this thing again here. So let's just see what we have back here into the purchasing part. Okay, let's just see what we have. New new item purchased. Yeah, actually you can see this is exactly the same calculation that we have. But you see this is count of distinct count. Okay, distinct count. So when we are going to get a value, so this is another measure that we'll do, we have new vendor purchase, then we are calculating purchase cost amount. So this is what we are going to do right now in order to change this new item purchase amount, let's say, DEX. We can do it on the fly. We'll just say we are not looking into distinct count, but we are looking into the purchase amount cost. Okay, and just aligned it. So you see, even with the, something we did, new items purchased. Now it's calculating. Okay, it's showing the same value because everything that we started is new. Because in this time we started the same. So with what we immediately see, the formatting we didn't apply. This is something we should do absolutely. And even if you do it for a demo case, this is fine. No formatting. So zero formatting is good. And actually it makes sense. Everything that we have been buying, let's just see here. So 3,300, yeah, I see there is a slight difference in here. So 339, this is slight difference here where we have some new items purchased and the difference is the old purchasing. So you can see here also they were purchasing but no new items and it should be always less. But in the total year, all the items were new. If we would say, just give me, let's say June, for example. Okay, 3,601 vendor, new vendor purchase and 100% new vendor. So the purchase came only from new vendor and new items purchased and the text has to be changed. New vendor purchased, it's 3,000 and also the percentage is something which we don't have currently, which we are going to add later. Okay, so this is the exercise that we will do is to change the text. So it'll be a new item purchase. And the same text would be percentage. This is something that Alex will do in the details. I'm just bringing as much as details as I can. So new item, just say purge for now. And what we need to do here, we create another DEX. And this DEX is simple. And we'll just say the value percentage equal. This is something you should do by default because it's a simple divide with what is on the top is always the smallest value. It's new item purchased value. Do we have this? New item purchase amount DEX divided by purchase cost amount. And the beauty of this DEX divide is you don't worry if this is zero, if this is zero, if it goes to unlimited like this is handled by divide. Previously we had to do if this is zero then write or null, write null, and if this is zero then it's null and so on. You don't have to worry. And again DEX because we want to know what are the formulas that we deal with them. And whether we deposit doesn't matter, just keep it as it is. So now you can see it's getting crowded. So it makes sense to narrow down if we can every, not just every, but you see at least to the 3 lines so that we have all the real estate available for a new column like this. This is what we do. So new vendor purchase percentage vendors we have, but we also need new item purchase DEX. So we are depositing it here. You can do it also here, but here you don't control where this will fly. And because it gives you to the end, and you can see percentage didn't finish of formatting. It is something like this. And here we can have a control. What would the percentage be? In BI4, there we don't have. So it's 98% of this. Okay, so this is something that new item purchase would be like this. See? Now the exercise is done. So that's a trial way to do it. This is how you develop measures. Don't do and go directly into BI4 unless it's a very simple formula where you pick it up and just distinct count or something like that. If you have something like that, definitely all time do it here. Do more version of the measures, and then what we have, DEX, we have 2 measures, and all we need to do is to copy paste these parts here. So we can copy paste into the notepad and just say this is not needed anymore. So we copy first a new measure and we just copy new item purchase. Okay, be careful about the percentage because this is where we put it, percentage, and the formula is just going to be pasted from this part here. Okay, sorry, this is where we paste it. And about the display folder, analysis of new purchase, add, confirm. Now we do it for the second one, and after I am done, I update the measure and keep it as long as you are 100% sure the new and the old one, and the old one, I mean the one from the Power BI report where we added the measure manually. And once we are sure that measure is there, then we are going to delete it from the report. The only difference is the extension. That extension says it's DEX. So that is the whole process of adding a new measure. And I will tell you, whether we do it for a customer project or for a development, do it the same, because this will give you the flexibility of Power BI, which means you can do the measures on the spot, and the power of BI for Dynamics, you put it on a server through a very simple process, copy paste, and then it's available to everyone. If you remember the guy from Chimera again, from our customer, what did he say? Oh, when I create the new measure, then I have to distribute the report. Yes, but in this case, you publish it to the server and it's available to all users, not just the Power BI user, but everything else here. So this is something that we are going to verify, and that's the way how we are going to do each and every measure when we are doing. So Alex, your exercise is to do the same thing for other missing measures which are available in the sales and are not there. So what is your question in this situation can be? And just really important question, what the names for the new measures or attributes are. That is kind of super important, not a little important, because we are giving them, a lot of measures. If each consultant would have its own idea about the naming, then this would not be readable. So I will take care about that we have the same way of putting names. If you are in a doubt, just ask me. Really, that's important part. So now we are going to refresh the model and look for the measure. with this name. Okay, now this is a formula. We're looking for this measure here. We should have these two measures now. Oh, we still divide. So I'm still not copying it. Okay, so I'm still not copying it. There are two. This one came from a server and this one is still here. That's why I don't mind in which folder this is, because it is just temporary. And now I bring this side by side, and when I'm sure these are the same, then I can do it. So it's nice. It doesn't show us. So the model has an error. Okay, we created an error. Another exercise to do. So obviously to this exercise we didn't do something right. Maybe with this divide. Of course, we should deploy first the base measure, because I did a divide, but I didn't deploy the first measure, which is kind of beginner's problem. So I use a divide function where I'm referring to the new purchase, which I didn't do. So this is only here. It's not in my environment. So, I'm showing you all the errors as you as a beginner should not do. So what I have here, I have added this measure, but I didn't do this measure here. So let's just do this part here. Okay, add. It'll be no time. Okay, and I will not be careful about the folders. I'm just careful about the formulas. Okay, because I'm referring in this formula to this formula, and this formula, you see, I should not have DAX here also, like this. And I'm referring with the DAX, which is in Power BI, which I should remove, to a formula or a KPI, which was not even copied. That's why it was two errors at the same time. So what I'm doing to refresh both. But you see more. These errors that we make and fix, you learn more. But it's okay if we are learning, not just doing all these things. Now this will come, and the Power BI report will have two measures, and a part of the job would be done. Any questions about this exercise?
No questions. Like, I understood what you're doing to achieve. The only thing is, this DAX calculations, someone needs to be a little expert, while writing those.
You will all be. You will all be, because that is like, if you ask you today, do you know Excel? Yes, everyone say Excel. Then we'll ask you, do you know Power BI? If you are a user, then you will just drag and drop. If you are a consultant, you must know DAX. That's without any question the future language of calculations. So from consulting perspective, that is like English in business communication. T-SQL, yes, a little, but DAX, definitely. Not the complex functions, but definitely. We have purchased the training for this, so this is something that is available to you from SQL BI. So the best training that you have ever seen from anyone is coming from this guy. They write all the books, they all have all the models, the patterns. There is enormous amount of free stuff, and we also provide training from them. So the training we are entitled to have, they are the best, pretty much, without any doubt. They are Italians, which is kind of interesting too. So SQL BI will also be a site where if I give you a task, like create this KPI, and I will say, check if if Italians have something done already, because they provide enormous amount of options how something is done, explaining with all the details, including the scripts and everything here. So, but they, they are, much more advanced that we would need. But for the situation that can happen, it might be already solved somewhere here. So that's really good thing here. But DAX, yes, this is something we do. Okay, DAX has been updating it. And let's just see it now. Refresh it. We'll just check if this error will be gone, because we expect that after new measures are coming, this calculation should be fine. And if this is so, we are okay with deleting both measures that we temporarily put into the model. So you see how good these steps are, because yeah, you see, now it's perfectly the same. And because this measure includes also the other measure, that is also telling us that both are fine. So what we would do now is just delete from the model. That's why I keep it as a DAX. This is another DAX. This is real DAX formula. And I put it away also here. Delete from the model. And now anywhere I was using it, it will show me an error, which is clear because I'm not using this anymore. And also here, they are having these old versions, remember. So yeah, I have to replace it. But this is the exercise. What is here? Also this one here, yeah, I was having two. Alex, is this clear? I ask you directly because it will be your job, but anyone else can comment on this.
Yeah, pretty much clear. I'll just revisit the recording if something is not clear.
Okay. Okay, so your exercise is to do all the measures that we have in the new analysis for the cells. Also those with ACY, which means the base for calculations for values. We have values in a local currency. So in this case, we don't say it's a local currency, but when we have ACY, additional currency, we add a suffix ACY. And just as a base for calculations, in here is a net sales ACY. And here will be net purchase, let's say it will be purchase cost amount ACY.
And I create all the measures in the Power BI itself, not the BI for Dynamics application, right?
You do the same step. Mm-hmm. You go through the steps where you create these things in the Power BI. And maybe I would suggest you to give this a look to, I don't know, Yaka, and said, Yaka, did I do this correctly? So what you will show Yaka, you will say, you see, this is the part that I did manually, and this is the part coming from BI for Dynamics, and then you delete it. So that after this is then done, we will do this on BI for Dynamics model, which is a selling model, development model. But you do it on your end. And just ask Yaka to look, because Yaka will not deploy it on your end, on his own end, right? Just to have a look if everything is by the protocol. So following the protocol will eliminate errors. And yeah, so this is it. I will now stop this recording. And we'll continue with another exercise, but just to be sure that